NRDI kickstarted the interventions by conducting preliminary surveys in consultation with local leaders and other stakeholders in the areas, aimed at establishing hotspot areas within the areas. The number of hotspots were identified, but the interventions could only be done in some given the tasks that had been assigned to NRDI and the agency it required. Areas of Rusenyi, Kadingidi, Kyangabukama and Haibale were given ultimate attention given the rate at which degradation was taking place.
Specifically in Ntoroko, we have done fencing off of the riverbanks of the Semiliki. We noted that one of the key issues that was leading to riverbank collapse and degradation of the Semiliki was cattle keepers. Bweramule sub-county is predominantly cattle keeping area, so the cattle were going and watering up to the edge of the riverbank. So this led to collapse, and with this collapse, of course, it led to shift of the boundaries. Within Bweramule, certain sections of the river act as the international boundary between Uganda and the DRC. So with this shift of the boundary, led to conflicts between the locals of the area. So we decided that we needed to fence off these sections of the river. So we have fenced off close to 15 kilometers of the river section. But of course, while we did the fencing off of the river section, we realized that you cannot delink these cattle keepers from the water sources that they have. So we had to offer options. We not only fenced off, but also offered options to the cattle keepers outside the buffer zones.
The project also constructed 2 solar power water supply systems and cattle troughs at Kadingidi and Kyangabukama for the locals to access clean water and also to mitigate the problem of waterborne diseases and further protect riverbank degradation accelerated by animals.
Initially, we used to have a lot of floodings because of the river Semiliki. These animals were being watered on the riverbanks and they were causing a lot of silting, so floods were a constant issue here. But since the intervention, we've had an improvement and we've seen direct benefits. One, the floods for the last 2 years along River Semiliki and this part of Bweramule have almost ceased. Two, we've seen a reduction in the reports on intestinal infections in cattle. We've not had so many cases coming up. Three, the challenge that we used to have, especially for the watering, the water issue, it has been solved because we've used to make a lot of cries to government. We need points for water for production. We no longer have those issues coming up.
Ndamulisa amaizi tubaira ntubonabona hakutaha amaizi harimu buka n'abana baitu mbajayi mbafueramu naitu itwenka abakuru ntufuerayo na habweke ntushime kitongole kinu kyebare muno kutuha amaizi amarungi naitu obomezi bwaitu bwagana kuba kurungi bensi talibana muno kwatagaine n'okunywa n'abantu baitu bora bembatufuha habwe kisare eki kirimu n'ebisoro bingi ebirikukwata abantu ati nisima mune kitongole kinu kyebare muno kutuletera amaizi amarungi naitu kubaha n'obusingi.
Saa zino nk'abataka basemerirwe muno okukurora projekiti yenu netuha obuyambi bw'amaizi kandi abataka saa zino tweyunga nayo tukwataniza nayo kurora ngu buli kimu kyona twaleeta obusingi rundi enkurukurana ya projekiti yenu yetwiziriire kanyowe nka chairman mpulire nyenyumirizemu bukicweka kyange kurora ntufuna amaizi kandi n'abantu bange mbabakurungi.
The locals have exhibited a lot of demand for accessing tree seedlings for establishing woodlots. A community nursery bed has been established in Kabimbiri hotspot area that is being taken care of by the Kabimbiri River Bank Management Committee. This serves as a source of seedlings to the communities around it. A 1-acre irrigation demonstration garden has also been established in the village of Kyangabukama at Omuhereza Teresa to facilitate modern agriculture in the area, which is a predominantly cattle-keeping corridor.
One of the ladies called Muhereza, on top of the the interventions we are putting in place for her, she requested that she wants also to use water for production in addition to water for watering animals and protection of the zone. And this lady has been provided with a mini irrigation scheme.
Omusiri butukuna abayo musana mwingi muno kutulemesa n'ekyo kukora tuba abakozi kyo nk'abo omusana gusitalibaniza muno tutukora nahabweki niho nyasabire project yaki y'amaizi bantera amaizi mu musiri muno nukubulikaire koona mbege ninkora ninzere nkurakurana nanyowe mbeho nk'omuntu nkyo nyasabire amaizi ganjere mu musiri nyenda muno kukora nyetage nkurakurana tukuru kulya kuonka ningonza nyema nkurakurana ntaasha mbeho nintera kulima nyanya butunguru kabeji ebyona ningonza nkoleke mbirimu nukundole kiki kisobora kundetera amagobo nkurakurana.
The same piece of demonstration will act as a learning center in the area to promote good agronomic practices.
We went ahead to set up the village savings and loan schemes where the community actually collecting money and using the money to actually help out their fellow community members if they're hardened in as far as cash is concerned. So these village savings and loan schemes is very, very critical to actually help with the group dynamics of the community. With this group dynamics, we have realized that the communities are actually effectively managing the mini solar-powered water supply systems that we have put in place and also jealously guarding the fenced-off buffer zones. Those who have visited the area and interfaced with the local communities can really see the joy that these local communities have with what is being brought to them. They have completely changed their mindset in as far as natural resources management is concerned.
Life to project na NRDI tuzisima muno nente zetu zongere kuzara kurungi tuli kurungi muno tutwina nsonga yona tube twina emisango saha zona ntubulaminge nyanza crocodile nzerga mu nyanza ente ziza kunyo zikwata na abantu ntubene bataha amezi mu nyanza baitu hati ntunywa amezi amarungi
sima na engineer nyakwizire yatokaho kandi akatoa tebe bibiri turataha mu cyoma kinu nuko tuserega magoba turayirinda cyoma cyetu nisaba bataka abalisa bona abo kunyisiza hanu tubona moyo murungi tufoye hente zeitu tulinde cyoma kinu omburungi nuko tuongere cyoma kindi cyomere kimarebero ombugufu kwango kubere kusima nyine hera mukama abampere mugese.
This is a continuous process. Catchment restoration is not a one-off activity, so we've been doing it for 3 years, and we hope that after about 5 years of these activities being implemented, there will be a reversal of the catchment degradation and, of course, a change in mindset of the communities where they can now see the benefits of the activities being implemented.
For that matter, I really wish to appreciate for the good working relationship we've had with the NRDI, and we pray that in case there is an opportunity, we have other areas which are still facing similar problems in Butungama, which are completely water stressed. And they have so many challenges of crocodiles. Now that this project has managed to solve the problem of crocodiles, which used to be another issue here, I pray that they come again in Butungama and we solve that problem once and for all. But more importantly, when it comes to the environment, we are seeing a lot of regeneration on the first area, and this is very good for the environmental perfection.
It is important to restore and maintain natural resources because they are a source of livelihood, provide recreation sites, and are habitats for the flora and fauna which are important for the tourism industry.
I really want to use this opportunity to thank government for bringing on board the Live 2 project, of which Ntoroko is a beneficiary district from that program. But most importantly, also I want to thank the implementing agency, the Natural Resource Defense Initiative, NRDI, for doing a good job in this district. We've had tremendous progress for the time they have been here. As I talk, we have 5 watering points which have been constructed. That is in High Valley, Harukora. We have a watering point in Kiangabukama, a watering point in Kiapa, and another one is in Rusenyi. The most used one is in Kiapa, which is a convergence area, and it's serving around 10,000 heads of cattle. But all in all, these 5 watering points, they serve about 22,000 heads of cattle, and I think that's very credible.
If you can effectively manage your catchments, then you can effectively benefit from it, as opposed to earlier on, the catchment is degraded and then the communities abandon it, then the blame is laid to government for not doing anything. But this time we are moving together, the communities and as government, and of course as the donors of the project, who are the African Development Bank. These particular interventions, of course, would not be possible without the African Development Bank, who saw the need to actually do implementation of these critical project activities within the Lakes Edward and Albert Basin.